He's a lovely 32-year-old engineer with a stronger analytical brain.
He's a cunt.
Yeah, stronger than what? Yeah, I know. She's already making excuses for why he's so fucking rude.
Welcome to Guys We...
Greetings, fuckers. How you doing? Where you been? You drink enough water? Welcome to another episode of Guys We Fuck.
It's the Anti-Slut Shaming Podcast. I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Welcome to the show. I've lost track of when this one is coming out, but I'm going to read some of these dates, and some of them might have happened. But come to the Eye of the Tiger tour. It's my 2024 14-city stand-up tour featuring Chloe LeBranch. Apologies if I've already been to these places, but now you know that you should, I guess, you know.
You really lost out on a great night.
Follow me on Instagram, you know? All right, so Tampa, Florida, April 17th, Miami, Florida, April 18th, Atlanta, Georgia, April 19th and 20th, Columbus, Ohio, April 25th, Raleigh, North Carolina, April 30th, Philadelphia, May 1st, Boston, May 2nd, Portland, Oregon, May 14th, San Francisco, May 15th, Sacramento, May 16th, Seattle, May 17th, Houston, June 27th, Austin, June 28th and 29th, and Salt Lake City, September 26th. Tickets at CorinneFisher.com. Tell a friend, bring someone who is not familiar with my stand-up. I love you. It's going to be fucking sick. And you know I don't say that about things if I don't mean it. This subject line says, my boyfriend's a lovely nerd who says mean things sometimes. Again, if you want to email us, it's sorryaboutlastnightshow@gmail.com. Hi, Corinne and Krystyna. I'm a longtime fucker and love the show. It makes the best times of the week for me. Appreciate you so much. I'm a 31-year-old woman and I've been dating my boyfriend for 10 months now. Well, that's not that long of a commitment.
Yeah, you can surely dump him easily.
He's a lovely 32-year-old engineer with a stronger analytical brain.
He's a cunt.
Yeah, stronger than what? Yeah, I know. She's already making excuses for why he's so fucking rude. I say that because I believe that to be a separating distinction between us because I'm more emotionally inclined.
You're kind?
She's being fucking abused.
Yeah.
I've known him for many years within our friend group, but I guess we never looked at each other in that way for all that time until this past year, even though we were both single for a big overlapping chunk of that time.
Okay, so you knew him for a while. That's okay.
Then, he never really interested you. And then you just got really sad and lonely. And you're like, I guess I'll take this engineer.
A real straight man move.
Real good on paper. The past 10 months have been great. And we both have helped each other a lot with handling life's general ups and downs. So you were both going through a difficult time and you found each other. We have great sex and amazing conversation about things we have in common, and conversation or argument happens for the sake of learning. Oof, a lot of excuses here. And we both have learned a lot from each other.
10 months.
Yeah.
Learning a lot, huh?
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of ups and downs for 10 months.
Doesn't have to be this hard, guys. Doesn't have to be this hard.
My main problem is that I have a fluctuating self-esteem now that I'm with him.
Okay.
That's
awful.
Huge problem.
That's the last thing I would want to be brought into my life with a partner.
That is the biggest red flag we've perhaps ever heard in an email on this show. It's so funny. The breadcrumbs are there for when there's about to be a big problem.
Yeah.
In my adult years and after many years of therapy, I have come to consider myself to be a strong, capable, beautiful woman. It's not good when you have to talk yourself up in the email for how bad things are, who can go through anything, even though I didn't feel that as a young adult or a teenager. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to go through anything. You might be resilient. That doesn't mean you always have to have it turned on.
I need pain.
Yeah. But when I'm with him, it feels like I'm hanging on his every word.
Okay.
For example, the other night, out of nowhere, he said, I think your face is very symmetrical.
That's nice.
And the only thing that's not symmetrical is your smile.
That's not nice.
And you also move your mouth to one side when you talk.
Shut the fuck up, dude. You don't have to say that part.
Oh, God.
Stop with the symmetrical. You had me at symmetrical. Shut the fuck up after that.
Being a perfectionist and overly critical of myself, I tried my best to take this as just a simple statement and not as something he's saying to critique my appearance.
Even though that literally was what it was.
but I got flooded with emotions and tears. My mind went blank and I was at a loss for anything to say in return and sat there crying for minutes. So this was a rude thing to say. And then also I think how large your response was.
Hopefully it was like an indicator to him, like, oh shit, did I say something?
But to me it says this feels like too big of a response for what went down. So that means that
she's getting
something
triggered.
is unsafe in the relationship overall.
Yeah.
So it's showing me it's like a symptom of a larger problem, right? He apologized and said he feels very bad, asked me to talk to him about it. But when I couldn't, he left after a little while.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, just give up. It's fine.
I believe that distinguishing other people's emotions is not his strongest suit. I mean, is he autistic?
He might be.
I'm like asking that seriously because if
then
he's
it's a
not,
different type
he's
of
just a
advice.
fuckface.
Yeah.
But he has the kindest heart.
Okay.
I'm going to sit with that for a second. He just doesn't receive information from his surroundings the same way as I do.
Or he doesn't give information in the same way you do.
Yeah, or he just doesn't care. Either he's autistic or he doesn't care. A question.
Yeah. Legitimate question.
Yeah, legitimate. But it's the same way as I do, an empath who absorbs and analyzes every little thing. I know that my emotional response of freezing and not being able to form thoughts into sentences is not a great quality and causes much friction. But on the other hand, I feel like I shouldn't be someone who has to teach or train him on how to talk to or treat everyone, especially me. But I also have the tendency to blame myself for everything. I would love to know your thoughts about how I should be reacting in instances like this and how can I improve my responses? Should I try to overcome my hurt feelings and be the one to teach him? You've also okay.
Oh yeah. If you want to see the photos, which I do think they're important. Hold on. Where did they go? Okay. Oops. That's them. That's the dog. Cute. You're both very cute. They look happy. You look happy together. So here's the thing. I have some thoughts on this. You're what you described when you couldn't talk and you started crying when your boyfriend said that is the like clinical definition of a trigger. Because what happens is your brain goes offline and you can't access your thoughts, and it's really frustrating. So it's not something you're doing wrong. It's just something that I don't know if you're in therapy, but I highly recommend it. Because this will be able to help you, therapy will be able to help you understand yourself more so that when stuff is happening like this, you go, I know what this is, but right now it feels like you're a mystery to yourself. And so I think it is important to, like communication skills in a couple they develop as they develop, right? And I think it's important that each member of the couple, like, hey, when you do stuff like that, this is how it makes me feel. You might not intend to do that at all, but I need you to know when you do that, this is the reaction I have, okay? So let's figure out a way to go about this in a different way. I struggle a lot with perfectionism, and I think through trauma therapy is really what got me to understand why that is. It's not just about being hot. It's about like feeling like you have to bend over backwards because you need to earn love. And not feeling, that's for me personally, and not feeling like it should just happen and everybody deserves love. So that was my main thing. And I would get really, really triggered when, like if something like that happened to me a couple years ago, I'd probably have the exact same response. Your boyfriend does sound a little autistic, but I don't know. I have no idea, but that's I think your face is very symmetrical and the only thing that's not symmetrical is your smile. I don't know. Like
file that under things that don't need to be fucking said.
Yeah, like you don't have to fucking say that. Like it's weird. It's just weird.
I don't think it's like the worst thing.
I don't think he meant to be cut. Like I don't think he meant to be an asshole. I really don't. I just think it's just like, yeah, you know, you need to get more familiar with yourself so you have more of a filter about what you say to your partner because you want to make your partner feel good, and that clearly did not make you feel good. Also, I'm weirded out that he just left after you were kind of there in silence after you were crying, and he tried to work it out and then kind of gave up very easily. That also, I'm like, maybe he is autistic. He just genuinely like, I don't know what to do, so I guess I'm going to go.
It depends,
and didn't mean it in an unkind way. Like, I can very much see this boyfriend not meaning these things in an unkind way. I can also totally understand you receiving them in an unkind way based upon your past. whatever that past is.
It also like we're only getting one side of the story though. So like for me, like if I need to cool down for something, like I actually would prefer that my partner left.
Yeah.
I don't want them there. I don't need to be.
You need to write your own thoughts.
I know how to navigate my own feelings. I don't need someone to hold my hand through it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I find it quite irritating. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's nothing in this email that you said that he did that makes me be like, this is a bad person. But the energy I am getting from this email makes it feel like you're making a lot of excuses for his behaviors. You're trying to
justify a lot.
Yeah, you're playing up his good qualities. But the bottom line is, someone like in a healthy relationship, you should not be reacting this way. Whether it's his fault, your fault, a little bit of both, fault, heavy word, but I cannot tell from this, but what I can tell is that you shouldn't be having these reactions in a functional relationship. So something is wrong. I just can't tell where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And he could, I mean, it's a little hard to be like, hey, have you been tested for autism? But I mean, Google it, read up about it.
Your smile wasn't as symmetrical, so maybe he won't get offended. Yeah. Honestly, maybe he won't get offended.
You can also do a little research.
It's not a death sentence.
Because you know who he is.
Right.
And
you've known him for a while.
Read up a little bit on it, but something is wrong, and I can't tell what end it's from. But you should not be having fluctuating self-esteem. The way you know a relationship is healthy is either your self-esteem remains the same, and it was at a good level when you went in, and it remains the same, or it gets higher. If it gets lower or feels like it's rapidly fluctuating, you're in an unsafe space.
Yeah. Yeah, and how you navigate through that. I mean, I highly recommend therapy, at least for you, so you can start talking this stuff out. I'm in a relationship now that I thought it was my self-esteem was increased and then decreased and increased and decreased, and I finally got to the bottom of that with myself, and we were able to get to a place where it feels incredible and it's beautiful and amazing. So anything's possible, but you just have to make sure you're understanding yourself, and then he's understanding himself and how your words affect each other, so you can just get your footing in this relationship, because you need to figure out what's happening inside of you with these reactions.
I wish we had the context to the smile thing. Like, what was the conversation?
How did it come up?
To it?
Yeah. So you just randomly say it,
Because if you randomly saying it is so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, out of nowhere, as if he's been thinking about it for a while.
Lovingly looking into each other's eyes, and then all of a sudden something comes out of their mouth, and it's not what you wanted to hear at all.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel beautiful in any way. But my boyfriend and I have talked about, he's like, would you ever want to get work done on something? He's like, I would get these done. I'm like, yeah, for sure, I would get this done. And we kind of playfully talk about it. But
that's a fun hypothetical situation back and forth. I mean, he didn't just look at you and go, do you ever think about getting work done?
No.
Because that's crazy.
But he also, I think men can talk about their physical flaws in a more, women are under a shitload more pressure that they put on themselves and that society puts on them. So it comes from both ends of to look fuckable. Like we were saying last week, when somebody's trying to dig at you as a female and you get older, they're just going to dig under your fuckability, and they're going to try to make you feel threatened and you're not fuckable. And so I feel like because of that, I've just noticed men are much more comfortable talking about their physical flaws than women.
Really? Because I feel like the opposite. I feel like because everyone else is constantly talking about our physical flaws as women, we're okay with pointing them out. Whereas for guys, they've been trained that if it's in quotes gay.
Oh,
to care about the aesthetic in that way.
Maybe maybe then it's just the person I'm with, because he's very when he was losing his hair, he was just very open about it. He's like, well, this looks like shit. I got to figure this out because that's not sustainable. And he was very open. He just didn't care. And I was like, damn, it's so hot. And I really appreciate that. I will say though, that's the only partner I've ever had like that.
Right.
And
it's also
the previous one.
He did care because he went and got it done, but he was comfortable talking about it.
He wasn't embarrassed about it in any way. He just wasn't ashamed about it in any way.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like this. I'm going to go fix this.
Yeah. Just very logical, cut and dry.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have to do some internal investigation, both on yourself with that reaction and what the roots are, and then have a conversation about, so you just didn't talk about it? He apologized, says he feels bad. And then when I couldn't talk, he left.
Also,
Okay, so
I don't...
I'm just curious, what happened after that,
Yeah, like the apologizing is, one thing, but then it's like the feeling bad. It's like, okay, well, then you're making it about you again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Then now you're just being a guy that hates when girls cry.
Oh my God.
That's dumb.
That's every guy, yeah.
Truly.
Mostly every guy. So, well, except for the few who I think get off on it.
Oh, I'd rather have a guy that's freaked out.
Oh my God.
Guys, after you buy a ticket to see Corinne on the road, sign up for my Patreon. Patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. I had once a week I do a Zoom group therapy and for an hour. And the one that I had yesterday was like the best one ever. I had a lot that I don't come to these Zooms with things that I want to get off my chest because I have other ways of dealing with myself and kind of going through my feelings, but I actually had something I wanted to talk about. The fact that my fucking parents just gave me all of the gifts I ever gave them back. But it was such a great conversation because then everybody had these stories of these fucking narcissistic leaning parents that are bullies to their kids. And it was so nice. It was awful to hear about parents behaving so immaturely to their adult children. It fucking blows my mind. But it also is really nice to go, oh, okay, your parents aren't the only ones who do this. It's not personal. If I wasn't me and they had some other kid, they'd be doing it to that other kid. So it's like, it's so nice to like when you were going through something really tough, to hear that other people also from all around the world, they go through the same thing. And it's like, it makes the weight of the problem so much less heavy to carry. And it's really nice. And it was such a great way for me to process, like just hearing about other people's stories. So it's a beautiful space. And one thing I said this on my Instagram after I wrapped. I don't feel good about humanity in most instances. So, after I sign off on social media, after I watch the news, after I watch a thing, or after I hear a terror, like I'm so often left feeling not hopeless about humanity, but just disappointed and like stressed. And every time I end one of these Zooms, I'm reminded that people are actually good and they are introspective and they want to work on themselves. And it gives me the energy to do all of the creative work that I do, not just this Patreon. So yeah, it's a really special space. So I highly recommend signing up. You can do a free trial. Patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson.
And then if you do want to hear the news, but you want to put it through the filter of someone you know and love or maybe hate listen to, check out Without a Country podcast. The episode we did this week was so interesting. We talked for a really long time about euthanasia because so many more places have been introducing these euthanasia pods. Not only for people with, terminal illness or who are elderly towards the end of life. Now they're now introducing it for people who are pretty young and experiencing severe mental illness. And we had a really long conversation about the ethics behind that. We heard some stories from, in an article form, some stories from people who have, a date of death set who are in their late 20s. How it's going to go about. And it's just been, it was an extremely, extremely interesting conversation, really long article, but I was just so fascinated when I took it because I like to go over news stories that are in the conversation for everyone, the main news stories, the top news stories of the week. But then I also try to pull things that are only being talked about like in one or two news sources and really just have a long form conversation about that. And we really went in. It was very interesting. So Without a Country podcast on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts every Wednesday. And then also, I went to see Olivia Rodrigo.
How was it?
This week. So you guys know I fucking love pop music. I have thought about pop music on a deeper level than maybe even the artists themselves wanted me to. But that's part of being me. And I just, it was one of those things where she was doing a couple nights at Madison Square Garden, and I kind of wanted to go, and then I kept looking at it on Instagram, and I was like, this looks so fucking fun. Like, I'm gonna regret not going. So on Monday, I made a last minute decision to go, and I brought our friend Ashanti, because I didn't even know if she liked Olivia Rodrigo, but I just messaged her and I was like, it feels like you would love Olivia Rodrigo. And she did. And then it was great because she also, I'm not even that familiar with who Olivia Rodrigo is. Like, she was one of those, she was also like on a child star on a television show. Like, Ashanti like schooled me on, the life and career of Olivia Rodrigo as we're going into it. Cause I mean, how much can I know about a 21-year-old? It's true. Before it gets weird. But yeah, we got tickets again. I don't know what the fuck is going on with ticket prices. It is so it's like a month's rent to go to a concert, and and this was anywhere. Cause I'm like, I could have sat in nosebleeds, but we sat on the floor at Madison Square Garden, which is not in the front, but the floor is just so immersive at Madison Square Garden. I've only sat there one time before when my dad and I went to see Rod Stewart and Cyndi Lauper, and I was like, oh, I remember it. Nice. It also has a separate section for merch and stuff, so the lines are just much shorter. Nice. The bathroom lines are shorter. The bar lines are much shorter. So it was great all around. We got T-shirts. We did the whole fucking thing. Like, if you're gonna do it right. Yeah. And I was so curious to see, a young pop star in this level, the kind of show that she would put on. First of all, it was fucking great. She has so many bangers. This is only her second album, and I gotta say,
really
like,
emotional songs too.
And she reminded me of a young Alanis Morissette. Obviously not the same style of music, but what she's talking about, and just like the power that she commands as a 21-year-old, the perspective she already had. She is talking about things in her songs that we still in our mid to late 30s are discussing here on this show. And it gave me so much hope, for Gen Z and Generation Alpha, that maybe you guys will be able to get past what we are sold, especially as heterosexual individuals, as far as like the importance of being loved by a man, right? Like, she still had that pain, and God, I mean, Ashanti and I were dying because 90% of her songs were about men breaking her heart, and the 10% that weren't were about body image issues. And I can only imagine, like, having grown up in the entertainment business, how deeply that must affect her. Female comparison, growing up in the age of social media, all these things. And so it was still that thing I hate, that, making most of your artistic work about men, but it was from such a powerful perspective. Like, the energy in Madison Square Garden, it didn't feel sad. It didn't feel mousy. It felt a little angry, but also powerful, empowering, joyous, celebration of femininity and being a woman in the world. That's nice. Like, I know Olivia is really into feminism. Like, I believe she was the one who
she's giving abortion pills out at her shows.
Well, she wanted to hang out. I think she also wanted to hand out, I don't think it was abortion. I think she wanted to hand out condoms at her show, and then they were just like, nah.
I think she was handing out Plan B.
That's so expensive, though. I mean, that's $50.
And then her lawyer, like, she had to eventually stop because her team was like, "Stop doing that." But she was when she was playing states that banned abortion, she was handing out Plan B.
Oh yeah, that.
I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was
good for you.
Yeah, it was birth control. Olivia Rodrigo. It was because of backlash.
Handing out birth control.
But it was also contraceptives.
Okay.
It was emergency contraceptives, I guess. So, I mean, it was only, I don't know what it was. Yeah, free emergency contraceptives and condoms. It was both. Okay, yeah. But it was because children were present. That was the backlash. But I mean, it's also like,
you're going to learn about it eventually.
Her music also handles pretty heavy themes.
Yeah.
And she curses in her music. So it's kind of like, I don't think an artist.
Your parents are taking you.
Yeah, I don't think an artist should have to. It's the same as like when,
then there's a kid in the comedy audience.
A teenager shows up at a comedy show. Well, I've just made it a thing that, like, I go, hey, just so you know, I'm not adjusting my set for you. Yeah. You know what you walked into?
Yeah.
And also, like,
well, they don't care, but the parents cared.
Oh, no, the kids
you
think
fucking brought the kid.
The kids think it's the fucking coolest thing, and they're telling all their friends about it on Monday. They think it's sick as hell.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And also, you know, obviously I'm me, so I think that my opinion is good. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, better they like learn from me than from their dickhead friends at school.
True.
So between the, you know, the condoms and the emergency contraceptive, like Olivia really is, you know, practicing what she preaches. I know it's difficult, but and I'm sure her management talked her out of it. And she's only 21, but man, I wish she had powered through and continued to do what she wants to do, because I know Nikki Glaser has the joke about it, but she really does feel like an old soul. Like even the opening band that she had for her was this like old band called The Breeders, and she just like had heard one of their songs and was like really moved by it, and so she had this band open for her, and she had Jewel perform with her for one night, not the concert I was at. She was wearing like Sex in the City branded, you know, t-shirts. So she just has a lot of like older interests, which was funny. But another thing that I noticed is that she had an all-female band, and she's not just, you know, talking the talk, she's walking the walk. Like you can, you know, preach feminism all day, as many pop stars do, but unless you're putting money in the pockets of women and giving women opportunities, and I know it was harder for her to find a female band. There's just to find a female bassist, drummer. Like I know she had to do more work. I know she had to set that as a goal, but like she achieved it. They fucking wailed. They were incredible. And she didn't even mention it. She didn't like say, "Oh, look at me, I have a female band." It just was there. It just existed.
So much more powerful.
And it was so great. And then during, you know, Driver's License, her hit song Driver's License, that got me thinking a lot about, you know, heartbreak and the power of love, and all these loves that we're so broken up about, and how so quickly this song she wrote about losing love became bigger than that love ever was. And again, this is how I'm experiencing a concert. No wonder I don't enjoy anything. I know I did enjoy this though, but that's like where my mind immediately went. So I'm like, I was just so overwhelmed by, you know, the lyrics of Driver's License, how young she was when she wrote it, like the real power behind that, the incredible realizations she's having to write that song. 20,000 people singing it together. And that's also what I like about being on the floor, because it has that Wembley Stadium effect where you're being really surrounded by everyone else's energy. And it just was like a great reminder of when you're going through heartbreak, when you're going through loss, specifically in a romantic relationship. I don't know that it's applicable to losing like a child or a parent. I think that is a bit different. But when you lose a romantic love, and I mean, not to death, to break up, when you create something from that loss, from that romantic grief.
Like this.
For sure. It's just proof. Like actual artistic proof that what you have within you is bigger than the love that you lost. You know, it was just so powerful to be like, you know, I don't know who this fucking guy. I mean, I actually do know who the guy is, but it's like no one's thinking about this fucking guy.
Yeah.
No one's thinking about this guy. You created something from your pain, from this loss that is then so much bigger, so much more powerful for that, and it came from within you. It's very much this Wizard of Oz, theory of like, you know, you had it within you the whole time. Like home is within you the whole time. Love is within you the whole time. Acceptance is within you the whole time. And I really, really loved that. And I was just so fucking proud of her. And Ashanti and I had such a great time looking at just women just being excited, hanging out with each other. I love watching teen girls have a great time and be teen girls.
Yeah.
Like it brings me such joy. Even like on,
beautiful.
Friday and Saturday night when I'm going home from spots and I see
love it.
Girls
the
in
girls
their 20s
in the dresses when it's freezing
skirts.
out.
Oh, I love it.
I love that.
It brings me such joy.
Fucking downing airport bottles of whiskey.
Yeah, it was really, really a great experience and well worth the just insane money. I mean, I don't know how to fix this like scalping problem.
Congress has to fix it and they won't because fucking Ticketmaster gives them too much money.
Yeah, it's not on the top of my list of priorities. I understand. There's a lot more things that we should concentrate on, but
man, if we can make art more accessible to people, I do think the benefits of society will be felt.
Yeah, because I mean, like it was, I did look around and go, I mean, this is a bunch of rich people's kids that we're sitting in this section with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were they were lovely though.
Yeah, that's good.
No, zero complaints about Olivia Rodrigo's fans. They were lovely, lovely people.
Nice.
We had a great time.
We're about to have a great time again.
Yes.
You know why?
Why?
It's our guest.
Pretty great.
She's an award-winning sexologist, a psychosexual therapist, the author of The Sex Ed You Never Had. She's here from all the way from Australia, guys. Please give a warm welcome to Chantelle Otten.